G'day! Today we're taking a look at another very impressive machine by John Deere, and it's the 1890 40-foot air seeder. That's a little bit different. We're used to seeing in this country perhaps a tine seeders. This is a disc seeder or no-till air seeder. As I said before, it has a working width of 40 feet and it consists of 64 working units spread over 2 bars along the full width of the machine. And they operate at 7.5-inch spacings. But what is really neat about this machine is that you can lift the rear bar up, unplug the air hoses to all the units along that bar, and then it actually operates at 15-inch spacings, which is great for when you're sowing beans and that type of thing. Up the front of the unit we're using the John Deere 8320R tractor, so we've got about 320 horsepower at our disposal. And in these conditions it's well and truly up to the job. Keeping in mind we've got just a little in excess of 9 tonne in the air cart trailing along behind as well. So if we combine the weight of the air seeder bar plus the cart and the product that the cart's carrying, that all adds up to somewhere around 30 tonne. Obviously the key feature of this machine is its sowing units, and that starts off with an 18-inch cutting wheel just to create that path. A depth gauge wheel runs along that to just keep an even depth all the time. Then there's a press wheel and a closing wheel, and it just creates the perfect environment for the seed to grow. The jury's still out on whether to go tine seeders or the no-till disc seeders, and what I really like about this machine is it creates minimal disturbance of the soil, which results in a reduction in moisture loss, and nowadays that's really important. But what is really amazing about this machine is it just slices through the stubble, so that means you can sow over even the heaviest of stubbles and not get any build up between the discs, which you still do see in some tine machines. With a machine like this that will sow through a stubble, it means you don't have to burn. You can get onto paddocks perhaps that you couldn't otherwise get onto and conserve all that moisture for later on in the season. A really good feature too built into the sowing units are that they're fully adjustable. So depending on what the conditions are, you can adjust the depth wheel up and down through 14 different adjustments of about 1/2-inch increments. And there's also a manual or mechanical adjustment on the closing wheel and the press wheel just to achieve that perfect compaction of soil around the seed. When it's in the down and working mode, its weight's distributed over 16 flotation type tyres. For road transport, it folds up to a reasonable 5.6 metres. You can adjust the downward pressure on both the front and rear bars from the tractor via the hydraulics. And mounted clearly within vision at the front of the air seeder bar is a pressure gauge, so you know exactly what that downward pressure is all the time. Just for that little bit of extra peace of mind, there's an electronic sensor built into each seeder head. So if there's any sign of a blockage or a problem there with the delivery or airflow, you'll be alerted in the cabin straight away. When I first saw it operating, my first impressions were that it just wasn't cutting in deep enough and it wasn't doing enough. But under close inspection on hands and knees, I realised it was going down a good few inches, and it was just testament to the fact it is a very low till or minimal till machine. Many are still sceptical, but from what I've seen today, this could very well be the way of the future as far as sowing directly into stubbles, not having to burn, and also maintaining soil moisture. Of course, you'll get a full review in Farms and Farm Machinery magazine. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.